I can remember growing up as a kid that every time we went out to eat as a family with my mom and my stepdad, we would always eat at a buffet. We would always go to a buffet because typically kids would eat for free. And it didn't matter if I was older than the maximum age for kids to eat for free. My mom would always lie and say I was younger than I really was just to save a buck. Now when I look back on that, I recognize that my mom was trying to save a buck, and that's great, but the reality was that she was focusing on the wrong thing if she truly wanted to build wealth. And in fact, 95% of you are focusing on this wrong thing. Now I recognize that many of you are struggling with debt. You're living paycheck to paycheck just trying to get ahead. In fact, CNBC reported that many of you don't even have $1,000 to pay for if an emergency were to come up. Now believe me when I say this, I was in your shoes when I started my career. There was a point where I didn't have any savings. My monthly paycheck was $800. I was renting a house with 3 other dudes, didn't have a car payment because I was driving a 1998 Chevy Lumina. I know what it feels like to be broke because I was broke as a joke. But even when I look back then, I recognize it wasn't about cutting costs that got me ahead, that put me on my wealth building journey. What I instead started focusing on, what you need to start focusing on, is this. Instead of trying to cut costs, instead of trying to save on your expenses, instead focus on how you can make more money. How can you increase your income? How can you increase your bottom line by bringing in more than what you spend? Because here's the reality, you can only cut costs so far. Yes, you can cut your cable bill, you can cut your cell phone bill, you can cut your thermostat in half, you can try to save on groceries and save on gas and save on all your expenses that you have to live each and every day. The only way to build wealth, the only way to get ahead is if you start to make more money. Does that mean getting a raise at your current job? Does that mean taking on a second job? Does that mean starting a side hustle where you can start to make extra money? One way or another, you have to figure out to make extra income. That's the only way that you're going to get ahead. That's the only way that you're going to build wealth. The one thing that you have to remember when it comes to making extra money or starting a side hustle is that it doesn't have to happen overnight. What does have to happen is that you have to start making intentional steps to achieve whatever it is that goal is. So if you want to make extra money, if you want to start a side hustle, what's the first step that you have to take to make it happen? Do you have to talk to mentors? Do you have to seek counsel? Do you have to do some more research? Whatever it is, find out what that is, and each day make one step, make one goal towards achieving that success, whatever that is for you. All right, y'all, remember, stop focusing on cutting costs, saving all these unnecessary expenses. Instead, focusing on making more money. It's the only way that you're going to build wealth. This is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.